Beth Riesgraf, Noah Wyle, two of the stars of Leverage Redemption, which is coming back for 8 more episodes this upcoming Friday. This is so exciting. Noah, first of all, I want to go ahead and ask you, what's it like to be the new guy on the show and to join this incredible cast?
First day of school can be full of jitters, but this was a pretty good group. They were very welcoming. And in some ways, it was also their first day of school. They hadn't worked together for a while, so we all had to get to find our footing again together, which made it probably easier and harder in some ways.
Oh, exactly. And Beth, I want to go ahead and ask you, I mean, you've been there since the very beginning. What was it like to come back to this character, and how has she kind of evolved and changed, since the last time that we saw her?
Oh yeah, it was amazing. It's like stepping back into a family that you haven't seen in ages, but everything felt really familiar. And the second we started, reading the words and doing the scene, it was like, oh, here we are, we're back home. So it was so much fun. And then to think, and with the time that had passed and everything that had happened in between, it was fun to think about with Parker, where has she been? She's been off with Elliot and Hardison running international teams, and she's had a lot of growth, but we can still expect the same adrenaline junkie attitude from her, and a little bit of danger at the same time. So it was fun to see her grow and play with those moments of change, but keep her really rooted in who she is.
That's the kind of magic that we like to see. Noah, let's talk a little bit about your character. Tell us who you play and how you kind of, brought the team back together and reinvigorated everybody.
I play a guy named Harry Wilson, who's been a high-priced corporate fixer for a long time. That he's extremely good at his job, and he's gotten a lot of bad people off for doing a lot of bad things, but never really thought of himself as a bad guy. And then one day kind of has a crisis of conscience and realizes that he's been responsible directly and indirectly for some horrible things. And so he just wants to change his karma. And he coincidentally finds this team of people that change karma, and they sort of take him under their wing, and everybody gives him a little bit of their particular skill set. And on the way, he finds a little bit of redemption and gets some of his soul back.
And gets a little bit of that back. And talking a little bit about these upcoming episodes, Beth, you're going to do your directorial debut, LeVar Burton.
That's right.
Everyone's been talking about this episode. Tell us a little bit about what we can expect and what it was like to work with him.
Yeah, it was a dream come true. He was absolutely fantastic and everything you hoped he'd be. Very generous, kind, fun-loving, and jumped right into the spirit of the show. And, with his character, there's a nice twist that happens. And we thought he was the perfect person to, you don't see it coming basically, but he's very physically capable of doing a lot of the stunt work. And so, I think people will be surprised and excited, and to see the chemistry that he and Christian Kane created on screen was just a blast. There's a lot of, that familiar feeling of the show and the tone, but then there's a nice element that's new and fresh to that episode as well. So I'm excited for people to see it.
I mean, he's the one who was, reading Rainbow. He was the guy who, every time there was a book, I wanted to listen to what he was, saying on TV, kind of a full circle moment, seeing him, playing a librarian in this episode.
He was a part of everybody's living room. I grew up watching him. It was a source of comfort for me as a kid to turn on that channel. I probably had 4 or 5 channels, right? But to see his familiar warm face, back then it was like, oh, I think everybody had the same reaction. Even our production designer, Randall Groves, built something into the set in honor to Reading Rainbow and to his role in his life. And everyone got a little teary and wanted photos with him. And I think it brought back that sort of sense of comfort, and not just me, but a lot of the crew too.
Exactly. That's the moment that we all needed in our lives right now. Did he film this episode the same time he was in a contender for the host of Jeopardy, or was this before or after?
Just before.
No, I do want to ask you, as far as what Chicago means to you, because we are based in Chicagoland here, as far as ER, all those years coming here to film, the Red Line, which you did a couple of years back, it seems like Chicago was a place that's close to your heart. Favorite memories, what you love about coming to our city to come and work?
I love the spring and the fall. I've been there in the plenty of winters and summers too. Chicago's like a touchstone city for me. Some of the best things that have ever happened to me have happened in that city. I love coming back whenever I can. It's been 2 years since I've been there. I can't wait to come back. And I've always feel very welcomed and embraced whenever I do. This last time in particular, I loved working on the Red Line in the city. The city is better than ever in a lot of ways.
It is, and we can't wait. Hopefully, there's a stage production or something that where we can have you back, or a television production where you can come back to our city. Either later this year or next year.
I'll definitely be back. It's architecturally, it's the most beautiful American city, so picturesque. You can't get any better when you shoot Chicago.
And one final thing I want to go before we let go. Gina Bellman has been one of my favorite actresses. I loved her in Coupling, which was right before Leverage had come out, and she has such wonderful comedic timing. Does she make both of you laugh on set? Because she's one of my favorite parts of the show, besides the two of you.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I've gotten in a lot of trouble because I couldn't keep it together. I think there's a little blooper reel coming out, and part of it is she knows that if she starts to crack, I'm in big trouble. So we really try to help each other out, but sometimes the giggles get the best of us and we can't help it.
That's what I love. Leverage Redemption, new episodes coming out this Friday, October 8th, IMDB TV. Noah, Beth, thank you so much for your time today. This is wonderful.
Thank you so much. Bye, Rudy.
Bye-bye.